All right, quiet on your shit, everyone. Quiet on your shit. Quiet. Quiet on the shit.
When we last left off. When we last left off.
When we last lested...
When we last left.
Last lested the bird. Wait, is he gonna lest the bird?
Oh, don't do that, dead lady.
When
She said
we
lady.
last left off. Angelo had taken a nosedive off a waterfall.
Yes.
And Eleanor had sent Lady in to speak with Grace.
Well, lady can't speak, but she has a note attached to her foot.
The lumbering form. Its arm crashes into the ground and sort of breaks some of the stone as it twists, and then another arm kind of brings itself back around to face Lady as its legs are kind of dangling, sort of like a gorilla, as it begins to kind of... It comes right up to Lady and looks down at her, and it says, "What have you brought, little bird?"
Lady just shakes her leg.
It reaches down with two fingers, both the size of her, as it just grabs gingerly this paper off of her leg and pulls it up. And he kind of raises it up, and he kind of drops himself back on his two tiny legs and kind of plops down on the ground. Uses his big-ass other fingers, pull this thing open, unroll the scroll, and begin to read it.
He can read?
And as you're looking at him, and he's reading, you realize something. He's not reading. Because he doesn't have eyes. And
Oh
in
my
point
God.
of fact, he doesn't have a mouth either. All it is, on where the face should be, there's that water sort of coming off like hair and kind of flowing all around him. There are two big, like, lines of, like, bioluminescence, basically. These, like, glittering, sort of incandescent kind of
Whoa.
greenish, lime green, sort of different shades of green. Lighty sort of orbs, or lines, rather. And then there's no mouth, and there's two little holes. Now, probably more like 3 on either side, like gills, basically, across his face.
Okay.
Or like breathing. And as he's just kind of looking at it, he seems to just be kind of taking it in. And then he just kind of puts it down, and he says, "All right." And he just kind of was just waiting. So,
Lady will just put her wings out and fly back to Eleanor. Meanwhile, Eleanor kind of just like comes out of it. It's like, fuck. The big guy.
the big guy.
The
10
big
feet
guy.
tall.
That is not someone I expected. That is not what I pictured someone whose name is Grace would look like.
Right.
It's beautiful. He is beauty, and he is grace.
But as Lady flies out of the temple, it's a visible sigh of relief. And like a little bit of just like, yes.
So, what do? Do you just await Angelo?
I get up and I, catch Lady and I'm just like,
You're alive.
you're alive. And yes, she is kind of looking for Angelo, but if he doesn't show up soon, she's going to go ahead and go
10
in.
minutes pass and he has not arrived. Do you wait?
Going to wait for like 5 more minutes.
Near the end of that 5 minutes, about 4 minutes later, Angelo, you come just wafting down like a shit breeze among the river.
I imagine I just stayed on
As
the river.
the current is moving quickly and you're just kind of like probably backpedaling down it. As you just were kind of moving, you kind of dodge a couple of rocks deftly And as you make your way into where like the boats are and stuff, it becomes a little bit harder to be that lax, so you kind of have to swim through. But once you get to the sunken temple part, it's a little bit clearer as no boats are going anywhere near this thing. You just kind of, and a couple of river shot boys do kind of call out to you and are like, "Hey, get out of the river! What the hell are you doing down there?"
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
He's going towards the temple. Fuck it. So you just kind of continue past, and you do see the large white and red vessel. You don't recognize the livery or what it's for, but you do see a very large, like to you, it looks like a privateer vessel, like a government pirate hunter ship. Like it's a big deal. You've seen these before. You've outrun these before. You've also been caught by these before. They're rough. But anyway, yeah, you make your way down, and eventually, Alienor, you do looking sort of around for Angelo, kind of look in, like, kind of see something moving in the river, and you kind of look down, and you see Angelo just kind of paddling up to you.
Are you...
Like, covered in shit and algae and stuff that is in the water.
Bones, get him out of the river.
Bones just, like, leaps off to the side, kind of hangs off the side of the dock and reaches down and literally grabs you just by the hand and yeets you over his shoulder. You kind of like do a flip and land.
I angrily start casting prestidigitation to get the shit off of him.
And as you do, this hot wind just rushes around you, sort of like a blow dryer. And as it does, you're kind of shocked as the river was really cold and you just adjusted to that. And then the heat washes over you. And all of the shit and mildew and sewage and all of that just sort of disappears.
I can explain.
Flurry.
You took your sweet-ass time, brother.
No, it would have taken me longer. I was at the top of the mountain. All the way at the bank. So if I walked down, I'd have to go all the way through the city in 3 layers.
So you decided the fastest way was to swim through the sewage?
No, I fell through the waterfall. I jumped off it.
You
into
are
the river.
insane.
Yes.
You have gone insane.
No, maybe they might say as quick as he returned was as quick as he left. I think many people, nobility, saw me.
When
so I
you
think
die from jumping off a waterfall?
Yes, I think they might think I was committing suicide. But I wasn't. I was coming to see you.
Okay, well,
I have done it before.
I believe you.
But not as perfect. Before I've broken a few legs. A finger one time. A pinky.
Regardless, Grace has been awaiting our presence.
I think I took the quick way.
Met with Kenneth earlier today, and all of the people who seemed to be affected and sick were in fact not sick. Some kind of illusory magic
I heard
of some
about
kind.
this, yes.
Yes. I don't believe this creature actually has any ill intent towards us, any active malicious intent. From what I understand, a ship veered off and was headed towards the temple, and it sank, and then some Lowtown boys got riled up and stormed in and got themselves killed, as she gestures to their hanging corpses.
He was merely protecting what he was meant to protect.
From what it seems. So I don't want us to go in there with the intention of harming this creature or hurting it.
We must always give a diplomatic approach if we can.
Yes.
I agree.
If there is some kind of truce, we can come to some sort of conclusion or some kind of better understanding to what he wants in regards to how people react to his territory, then I think we should absolutely do that. If we can avoid a fight and any more unnecessary deaths, as she points again to the Lowtown boys, then I think we should. If this can all be resolved with a simple conversation, then that would be amazing.
Yes. So, yes, I agree. Now, you know, before I, just to give you a quick brief, we're very broke. I have no money.
We can talk about that later.
And then the second thing, I have a lead, kind of, on one of the investigations. And I apologized to the lady, but she was not mad at me. Never is. And I met the Stills Guardian man. The dapper boy. But we'll talk about it later, as you
Yes.
said. Just quick update.
All right, just prepare yourself. I will lead the conversation if that is all right, since I am
Yes.
the one who sent the letter in.
I'll interject if need be. But,
Of course. Now he is waiting for us, so we must make haste.
okay.
As she begins moving forward, she's gonna go ahead and turn to Bones and just say, stay out here for now. I will let you know if there's anything we need.
Are you sure about that?
I don't think walking into a temple dedicated to a god of nature with a skeleton is the best approach to diplomacy.
But, who's that lady? She's a skeleton.
No, lady looks like an albino raven.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
You know that she's capable of performing the ritual and creating her to look like a skeleton, but that generally she looks like an albino.
I see. Well, this is good. Okay. Nature, let's go.
Begin slowly shuffling towards the temple.
All right. As you approach, it gets colder and colder as you begin to pass under these massive ice spines, which have the bodies still impaled upon them.
I'll go ahead and take your arm too, just
Aw,
because I
thanks.
see
That
that.
helped
I just
me.
don't really have a cane, so just
Yeah.
As you look at these ice sort of tendrils, go ahead and both of you give me an Arcana check.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
Not too great.
I got a 5.
I got a 16. You got a 5?
I rolled really good.
That's funny. Eleanor, the air is cold here, and there's no static. There's no electricity. As you're looking at this ice,
It's not
the
winter.
telltale sort of streaking of shocks of winter through solidified winter ice is nowhere to be seen. This seems to be traditional, pure, arcane ice.
Dude is fucking old.
Something which has not been seen since before Sephron,
She just like,
over 1,600 years ago.
fuck. She just reaches out her hand to like gently touch it. And then
It
she
is freezing cold to the touch. Like, as you touch it, you take 4 points of cold damage.
Oh, lovely.
As it shocks through your hand, and you sort of recoil back.
I just look to Angelo. This is not winter. This is old magic.
I see.
Yeah, let's take a diplomatic approach to this. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I did no research. I don't want to fight something I do not know. That is foolish.
I don't think any amount of research could have prepared us for whoever this is.
You'll
It
never-
seems like no one really knows what he is.
If it is traditional ice, maybe we could have brought something hot, fiery.
We're not going in there expecting to fight.
No, I know, I'm just saying. But, yes, let's talk to this man.
All right.
We continue through the doors.
As you enter the temple, or rather as you approach the sort of entry to the temple, you hear, "I thank you for not bringing your magic things with you."
And we thank you for allowing us to approach your home and enter into this temple. We would like to speak with you on your relationship with the city and its relationship with you, and if we can mend any wrongdoings that have been done. These people out here do not represent the citizens of Griffondale. They acted on their own accord, and we disapprove of the actions they took greatly.
The citizens of Griffondale. The city. All of it is so new. You know, it's funny. I've seen tides rise and fall.
I've seen cities be built and be destroyed and be built again. It's been a long time since anything has stood here. And now, just because you've been able to make something here, something that lasted for longer than a couple of weeks, you seem to think you own this land. It's funny. Enter.
I'll walk through the door.
I won't say anything yet.
All right. So the two of you walk in, and as you do, Angela, you're met with this aquatic gorilla, essentially, covered in coral. As he kind of is sitting there, his tiny leg reaches up and sort of scratches the top of his head. And he kind of puts it back down, and then kind of sits back down on his big-ass arms, like big fucking arms.
So the two of you, children, are who they send to kill me.
No.
No.
The instructions were simply to... In all honesty, the words just said to deal with it. And they didn't say to kill you. We figured that would be the least...
But you, creature, have thoughts of destruction in your mind.
Not of you.
I can assure you fire wouldn't help.
Oh, he was listening.
I was curious, though. You have ancient magic. It sparks my curiosity. I've never seen something like that, so I was running through my head what I might do in a situation. But I'll take your word for it.
In the times before the devils, before the destruction of everything that existed, before the world was twisted and manifested into something false, when the gods reigned and the world was as it should be, this was what it looked like. Ice, frost, lightning was separate, its own source of life striking through the sky. It produced heat. Did you know that?
You're joking.
When lightning would strike the ground, it would spark flames and burn forests. It would destroy them entirely, and everyone would fear it. But it was only the few, the wise, who would understand that once the forest had been burned, it would make room for new growth. Cities rise and fall. Make room for new growth, I suppose. So why have you come if not to destroy me, or attempt to?
Well, we wanted to come to some kind of conclusion about boundaries, I suppose. What it is you would like of us, and obviously we would like of you not to sink any ships in the river, as it will rile up the Lowtown boys, who will inevitably, despite any warnings we may give them, act with aggression.
If I'm being honest, what I would like is to see all of your cities wiped away into the tides. But
We are nowhere near an ocean.
Wait. Were you here when the ocean was full?
to the north, now there is a land that is hot, full of desert and cracked rock.
Right.
Only a few moments ago, in my recollection, there was an ocean. Your land was no land at all.
Fariel was talking about bringing back an ocean. That's interesting.
Your perception of time is a lot slower.
Time as you understand it is minuscule. You are small creatures in a small world. You are incapable of seeing what exists beyond it except through small parlor tricks that allow you to glimpse what exists truly. You live your whole lives bound to one realm, when in reality, there are thousands.
I would argue that of all the people in Griffondale, my brother and I understand that there are more realms more than anyone. We do, on occasion, interact with them, as is our position in the city.
Congratulations.
Angelo is going to stomp his 2 feet, pound his chest, and then reach out.
What is that?
Well, you see, they're hearing your words. I understand you are something that is very ancient, yes, but you are also something that is simply trying to understand and find its way. Or maybe you already know your way, but try to understand how that works now in this new world. But I also understand you were here first. We didn't know of this, I believe, when we made the city. Nobody talked to you, nobody knew of you, and that was unfair on our part. But since you were here first, and you also say, I don't think anyone here can claim a land, you know, I can see some reasoning behind that, especially being as old as you are, from the time of where you came from. This is a symbol that lets you know I will not bullshit you here, my friend. I only want to speak truth and come to an agreement so that we do not have to bother you. Because I can see people were foolish enough to walk in here because they did not understand necessarily what you were or where you came from. They only assumed because they saw one thing happen that you were to blame. They didn't actually get to the root of it. I think that is a disservice to what we actually stand for as a community.
I appreciate your words, but I fear your honey is sour.
It's not.
You wear a piece of ancient and powerful and complicated magic, which hides your very nature. How is one ever to trust you if you will not even allow them to try?
What is he talking about, brother?
I see through you, creature.
Really?
My magic is greater than that. And yours is greater than you know, it seems. Remove the ring and I will trust you.
For you and you alone. I can do that. But if you don't mind keeping this a little between us, you see, unlike people like you, other people don't really understand what I am. As you saw what happened out there, by what happened, you know. People tend to get a little upset when they don't understand things. This is why I do this. I have to keep myself safe.
Make no mistake. I understand what you are.
Well, you're a lot further than I am. I still have yet to really discover it. I removed the ring. But it's still invisible, I just...
Okay. So as you remove the ring, there is an audible and a tactile burst of energy. Alienor, you're pushed about 5 feet back and knocked to the ground, prone. The creature stands unmoved. Like, the wave hits him and he just looks there. You are even pushed back 5 feet and knocked to the ground. As Angelo, immediately heat surges through your body. And you feel all of the power inside of yourself that you have been suppressing.
What was that?
He says,
All right then. It seems now we're on even terms.
Yes.
There was a time when peace was the natural state of things. When creatures existed in this world together. When prey knew that they were meant to feed something greater and they respected it. And when predators knew that the prey believed in their power. That the prey wanted to be eaten. There was a time when there was no need for cities and walls and buildings because no one was afraid of anything. Nothing was going to hurt you. Nothing was going to fight you. There were no weapons. The gods created this world and it was perfect. Man created this new world, and it is not. When the gods died, everything that was died with them. Everything lost its purpose because there was nothing to help them to find it.
You... Do you believe in any of those older gods?
Do I believe in any of the gods?
I was not around when this happened.
You ask in a temple to Hourly if her humble servant believes in the gods.
I'm not gonna lie, because of how things are in the current time, I don't mean any disrespect, this is honestly hurts me to say it, I've never heard of her before. And it is not a mean of disrespect, it is the times that we are in.
I suppose in your small span of existence, it was quite a long era ago that the Kerr defeated the gods.
But from what it's told to us, they were not necessarily the best. Didn't he save everyone? You know knowledge that I don't, please.
The Kerr was created as a force of balance. There were 10 gods and 1 Kerr, his power rivaling all of theirs combined. His job was to keep those in line who did not follow the will of Corvos, who did not agree entirely with his decisions. No one is exactly sure why it changed, but this creature, the Kerr, the first demon, he took it upon himself to rebalance the world. This was over 2 millennia ago. You have only heard the books as written by the victor. You have only heard the stories that the Kerr wishes you to hear. The stories in which he was a hero who eventually fell from grace and had to be defeated. When the truth of it is, he has always been the disease, not the cure. The world was perfect. And then through his hubris, he had to decide to prove that the gods were not.
With this new understanding, we empathize with your feelings. And we see now why you hold such...
Your empathy is futile. You could never understand, I assure you. but I appreciate your attempt.
Regardless, we now understand your distaste for the city. But we cannot just destroy the city on a whim. We need to know an actual solution, some sort of...
There's so much you don't know, it seems. Well, I don't ask that you destroy the city, though I assure you you could. I suppose... For the longest time, there were no problems here. After the defeat of Orly, this ground became no less sacred. This temple is still in her name, and this river is still her soul. There is no reason to believe anything has changed. No purpose is gone. It's just shifted. Now I protect her memory. There were no problems. Until those sacks of flesh came with their handheld fire and determined that it was time to try and change things.
They only came because you sank a ship in the river.
A ship bringing more of that vile powder.
Vile.
Are you talking about the spice?
The catalyst for their weapons.
Oh,
Guns.
the gunpowder.
Yes, the black sand.
So you destroyed a ship carrying gunpowder, and they retaliated.
The people... Those people want nothing more than what the Cur wanted. To bring destruction and chaos wherever they go. They have created these devices that allow them to harness the power that only Sarah Steele should have. To command flame as if it were their servant. And they use it to assert their will over everyone who disagrees with them. That is why the gods should be the only ones to have power like that. Because the gods are not tyrants.
And I wish...
These people brought more of this powder because they wished to use it to craft greater devices, stronger weapons. I could hear it in their thoughts, so loud and slurred and amplified by their vile alcohol. They have plans for many great and terrible machines. Contraptions.
Is it possible, and I'm by no means excusing what they've done or protecting them, but is it possible that these supplies were meant to build weaponry for the war that's broken out? The Siren War, as they're calling it, to the west.
Perhaps that was the intention of someone above them. But it will not be someone above them who is using those weapons.
I will speak to the Duke on this matter and try to keep them from building any of these machines here.
Well,
But I cannot promise anything.
actually, sister, you're right. We cannot promise all of that. But what we can do is try to promise more regulation. It's what we do with governments. You know, they're almost like new gods. Unfortunately, we don't have real gods anymore.
Yes.
We have governments that act as that. And they keep the people in check. so that we don't shoot each other in the streets. Are they that effective? No, because they are not gods. But they can try.
I hear your assessment of the situation, and I feel the need to remedy a certain ailment in it.
Please, by all means.
There are gods still. There are those who survived the Kerr's wrath.
But no one has seen or heard from them.
No, and perhaps they never will. But
What?
beyond this, there are others.
What?
There's more.
I've felt a sort of vibration as of late, a shifting in the cosmos.
Dude, how powerful is this guy?
Power is gaining in certain places. There are those who have garnered enough faith, enough reverence from those beneath them, that their mortality is waning. There are even some here in your city.
Like who?
Those threatening to exceed, to ascend.
I have a question for you, if you don't mind. It's a little selfish and has nothing to do with our negotiation, which I really want to get to. Because I don't want to take up any more of your time. But, you know, creature of your knowledge, person of your knowledge. I have to ask. The Conchellas. Would these be one of those people?
The mother.
Of course.
Are you speaking of Lady Fiolera Coliconcella?
You must speak for me.
She has many names.
So why are you afraid of the... We will speak on that later.
I'm afraid I couldn't speak on it later.
He looks at you, and he kind of turns his head. And the greenish sort of glow in the sort of visor, essentially where his eyes would be, shifts and begins to shine with this like turquoise sort of light. And it kind of washes over it like a wave ripple. And Alienor, you recognize this as mage sight. As it washes over.
Oh shit, he's about to see a lot.
And then it washes over again with a gold light, something you have only heard about. An ability known as true sight. Or God sight.
I even let down my, Grey Witch Berry. I actually want to show him.
As he begins to peer into you, you feel all of that heat that had been building in you begin to lessen and sort of recoil as the entity that you are, that is within your body, sort of makes way for this power that it recognizes as far greater than its own. As he dives into not your mind, but your very essence, your soul, as it were.
You are cursed, restricted, bound. There is a thread that connects you to her. You are as I was, a servant of a god, born of their will. Do you act on her behalf?
No.
Are you vile as she?
No. I can be, but not
I see it.
because I necessarily
mask. You should destroy it. It's dangerous. It will consume you.
It's the only thing that's...
I see it. You think you're stronger than her. You think you can beat her. You foolish whelp. She exceeds you by eons.
And what of you?
His eyes flash back to that normal sort of calm, greenish kind of pulsation as he leans back.
What of me?
How would she scale against you? I
She
need
would
an accurate...
eviscerate me with a thought. Perhaps in the time before, when I was a great and powerful and revered servant of my God. Perhaps then I could have stood my own. But then, this mother of yours was only but a thought in another greater mind. So perhaps the fight wouldn't have been even. Now, in this weakened, shriveled form of mine, she would wish me dead and I would be it. This is part of why I stay here in this sanctum, protected by Aurelie's last wish.
Aurelie, what kind of god was she?
She was the mother of the sea. She was the sea itself. Perhaps the mother of its inhabitants.
What was her code? Belief? What could you tell me of this soul?
Aurelie wished to spread love and joy and beauty. She thought the music of the waves was something that could cure the world. She was able to placate, to calm vicious minds with a touch, with a word, with a song. The sea was never as violent as it is now. There was a time when it was simply a vast, beautiful expanse of but she's gone now. And the sea has no master.
No master, you say?
No. Just a false queen. The siren.
Your words. I would like to ask permission. Can I use them?
For what?
I'm going to try to use message.
Okay. And you'd recognize too, he has no mouth. He's been telekinetically communicating, or telepathically rather, communicating with both of you. You've heard everything though, like it's been an open channel.
But now he's closing me off from the channel.
He's closing his part off. I will determine if Grace closes himself off.
When I was in the place known as Kumanohar, I had met many people that called themselves the storytellers. And I took a lot of inspiration from that. I am not a storyteller. But what I am is somebody who takes words with such emotion in them to invoke feelings in everyone else. I am a poet. The words that you have just told me have touched me. I feel tears welling up in my eyes right now, just seeing you describe this travesty.
A poet. Huh. Perhaps that's what she was. Her words were beautiful. They could change someone with their power. You believe yourself capable of the same?
With my words, I only hope to be one day. I hope that one day I can take even the worst man, make him feel something.
So at this point, the conversation he'd been having with you just then was one way, but he opens the channel back up and he says,
Then why did you train to kill without remorse?
Because I didn't know yet what it was truly about. I was young, foolish, and cursed, as you can see. You've seen. Even now I still wish to devour it, get rid of it, take it and use its power for good.
You speak of it as if it's something separate. Do you know what you are, child?
No. And when I was young, I thought that these were the only people that could understand how to even combat something like this. I didn't know. Until I settled down after, and they forced me to...
Are you speaking openly now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're hearing all this, Alienor.
Take something that was the only thing that brought meaning in my life. The only thing that made me feel that I had a real chance to be
I see her.
separate.
She is beautiful. I'm sorry.
He begins to sort of mimic your emotion, Angelo, as you see shaping in the space where a nose and a mouth would be. There's a sort of ripple kind of on the face, and it begins to form sort of the same kind of grimace that you're making. The same sort of emotion sort of reflects on his face, as you can feel this kind of link between the two of you, as he begins to sort of like tears begin to fall from where his eyes would be, basically.
After hearing your story, I'm not gonna say I understand what it's like to lose what you did. But I think I'm in the right direction. And I cannot empathize because I don't understand. But in a way, I just know what it's like to lose. Whenever you're doing everything that you think is right, it makes it very hard. Makes you stop caring about everything else that's going on. You start looking at things differently.
I am her memory. My words are truth because she would not allow me to speak lies. My words, thus, are hers. I speak her truth. If you wish to use her words, then you must bind it to righteous purpose.
Are you asking me to serve or...
No. I am asking you to give your word that you will not use her words falsely.
No.
Or for your own personal gain? For this celebrity that you seem to wish upon yourself? This personal falsehood that you've crafted of this
I'll let you know something.
man who speaks truth and people clap?
I don't do it for any of that. And I know it might seem... Well, I'll tell you what I honestly do it for. I'm hiding because I'm not able to speak on my own because it's too painful. Because there's only one person who I ever was open with my words with, and that was her.
She could understand your true voice.
Yeah.
If you spoke it here, it would shake this temple to its core and probably destroy her.
Exactly. I hide behind this mask because I'm not ready to truly face it. But this is my one way of connecting with people and having people connect with true emotion. Something that I think nowadays people forget a lot about. They forget how to feel, how to truly be alive. What it's meant like. If I were using the words that you had told me earlier, it would be a disservice to do it at a personal gain. My sole reason for doing it is because people should hear something that touches you. There'll be no lies. I didn't know. And honestly, for all I know, you could just be telling me a lie yourself about this girl thing. I don't know, I wasn't there. But it's irrelevant, because what you told me, I choose to believe because I see what you are. And see your love for what was. And I only wish to bring justice to that. Not maybe in a big scale, it's too late for that, but in some small way, I hope to let her words flow like that river, without all the filth in it, though.
I am deeply touched by your truth. I grant you leave to use her words.
Thank you. I am more than thankful.
Now you, what do you desire? Coming here, what is the resolution you seek? Because they will not let me stay. Even now, they marshal against me. You know this not, but I can hear their thoughts. They've brought more powder. They're building bigger weapons. They fear me.
What if I told you one of them was planning to bring the ocean back?
I would tell you they're marching now.
Right now.
Yes, right now.
Do they intend to
And
just...
as he says that, you hear footsteps.
I use thaumaturgy to boom my voice.
He reaches out with his big fucking hand.
This is not going to end well.
And he smashes it down on the ground, and as he does, there's a shockwave in your direction. And your magic is immediately nullified. He says, just
No. Leave.
But what about you?
This place is of a time that has passed. These people will not accept its existence, and there is no place for me in this world. The people here fear me. And they think they need a victory to prove something.
Do not give in to them. After everything I just heard.
It's not for them. It's for all the people who won't be able to sleep tonight knowing that I'm still here. It's for all the people who need a monster to be dead by the time you walk out.
Don't give them the satisfaction then.
Then I give you the opportunity.
I'm not a killer.
It's not a death.
You're not a monster.
I'm not a person. Without a god, what's an angel?
I refuse to destroy something as
Slayer.
unique as you.
Do your job.
You will live on. In my words.
I am eternal, regardless of your words.
There has to be a solution. This does not have to end like this.
I just kind of hold my hand out and
Then
have...
speak your solution. They come, speak quickly.
I can go out there. I can tell them to turn around.
And then what?
They won't listen to me. Because I look like the thing they hate. And they think I worship.
What would you have me do?
I would have you leave and go somewhere safe.
Where is safe?
Sister, by you asking him to leave, you're asking him to die. This is the only thing that's been keeping him going all these years. The pain that he is going through right now. I can only barely grasp it.
Are they going to destroy this temple?
If they do, it will destroy me. I live on as her memory, with the power of her last wish. This temple is my body. If these bones are destroyed, my soul will scatter.
But you wish that now.
I wish to lessen the bloodshed. I wish to not see two worthy souls step out and be gunned down. I wish to see you succeed, gain reverence among your peers, and do something with her words. I wish to see you realize your true power and become something they fear for the right reasons. I wish to see all of this end without more conflict.
And you want us to do it?
I certainly don't want them to do it.
I have Kiramek now, actually. I de-summon Kirameku.
Okay.
I do not want him here for that. And I'll take out her blade.
Okay.
Hold ice knife in my hands.
He says.
That won't work. Yours will.
I that spell away. I stand back.
He steps forward with his big fucking paw into the ground. And he leaps up into the air and roars out this cacophonous roar as, like, from where his mouth should be, it cracks open. And you see all these, like, teeth and fucking tendrils and shit tendrils of ice shoot out as he screams, and all this ice pins into the walls and shit. Everything gets really cold. and you hear everyone outside start sprinting forward as he roars and is leaping up in the air, about to come down on you.
Take out my broken sword, short sword, and I'm just gonna fucking charge.
Yeah. And as you do, him leaping over you, you run forward, leap up into the air, and stab through. And right as you stab through this massive fucking beast, he looks so much more monstrous than the two of you saw him before, as his form has changed. He's no longer just this withered sort of gorilla. You see this 10 to 15 foot long serpent-like body, bulbous, kind of like a crocodile. It's got about 6 legs, and it's got 6 huge fin-like wings behind it. Its head is also large like a crocodile, with multiple rows of teeth all inside, like 10. And he's got like 6 eyes and horns, and as he screams out and fucking comes down about to hit you with all this ice and all this shit, you stab him through, and just as you do, you hear the footsteps come up behind you as you hear a voice scream out, "Men, fire!" And all of these gunshots ring out behind you as the muskets fire off, and all of these pellets fly through the air, hitting nothing, as there's just this cloud of ice that begins to sort of just flutter down around all of you guys like snow. And then you just hear, "Halt! Hold fire! The beast is dead."
There's snow falling around us.
Yeah. And the last thing that the two of you hear, only in your minds, is, "Thank you."